For years, Discovery have been encouraging everyone to make your world bigger. And that is exactly what I'm now doing.
And then also, of course, you had to be able to serve ice cream before and after the event, and that was really the number.
Yes. Edd turned out to not be gracious. He did some very bad things. And then when he did some very bad things, it meant that Discovery Channel just didn't work. Yeah. No one saw this coming. One minute he was rolling a batter Porsche into the workshop, sleeves up and smile wide, ready to show the world how real fixes are done. The next, Edd China was gone. No farewell on screen, no last laugh with Mike, just a sudden silence that left millions often staring at their TVs and wondering what yanked the king of big orange gloves out of wheeler dealers. But what really went down when the cameras stopped? Some point to a sudden budget chop that sliced away the heart of the show. Others whisper about a showdown so tense you could hear wrenches drop. In the next few minutes, we'll crack open the rumors, sift the facts, and piece together the truth. Stick around because one small overlooked detail might swing those workshop doors open again. Back in 2003, long before YouTube how-to clips ruled the web, two very different Brits stepped in front of a single camera and changed car TV for good. Mike Brewer was the born hustler, part auction caller, part stand-up comic, sniffing out rusty bargains in back alley car lots. Edd China towered beside him, all calm curiosity in bright orange gloves, ready to turn those wrecks into roadworthy gems. What made viewers lean closer wasn't just the before and after reveal. It was the way Edd slowed time down. He pulled off wheels, labeled bolts, and talked you through every turn off the spanner in words a kid could copy on the driveway. While Mike counted costs and cracked jokes about profit, Edd showed a whole generation that a seized brake caliper or blown head gasket was the death sentence. It was a weekend adventure. The mix was electric. Viewer mail poured in from Brazil to Bahrain. Each note begging for longer fixes and deeper dives. By the fifth season, the show was airing in more than 100 countries. By the ninth, they had packed the whole crew off to sun-soaked California, chasing fresh metal and a giant U.S. audience. Suddenly, Theboes were squeezing Ford Mustangs, DeLoreans, even classic Camaros into their growing collection, all while juggling tighter shoot schedules and sponsorship deals that came with contract fine print they'd never faced before. For a while, everything they touched seemed to shine brighter. But the bigger the circus grew, the harder it became to keep every plate spinning, and hidden behind those wide workshop doors, the first hairline cracks were starting to show. When the team moved to California, everything grew bigger. The workshop, the bills, and the stakes. The new network, Velocity, wanted faster episodes, more shows in less time. Cameras rolled before sunrise. Cars had to be sold by dinner, and the only thing moving quicker than the builds was the stack of takeout boxes by the door. At first, it looked like a dream. The shop was huge, lifts were shiny, and muscle cars lounged in every corner. There were tool chests taller than most people, and a parts budget that felt endless. But the dream came with rules. Producers spaced the floor with stopwatches and script sheets. A break job that once filled 10 screen minutes, now flashed by in 30 seconds. A full engine turn became 5 quick shots and a voiceover. Edd felt the change first. He loved teaching. Each cut felt like ripping pages from his guidebook. He asked, begged even for more repair time. Mike tried to please both sides. He shook hands with sponsors, then checked on Edd, but the gap kept growing. They still laughed on camera. Yet between takes, the smiles were thin. Fans noticed, online boards lit up. Why so rushed? Where's the detail? Viewers from Brazil to Birmingham missed the steps that let them fix along at home. Ratings stayed strong, but the heart of the show was drifting. Most nights Edd stayed late. He filmed extra close-ups, hoping the editor would keep them. Many never made it in. He watched whole lessons land on the cutting room floor. Pressure rose like steam in a whistling kettle. Everyone sensed it would burst soon. Then in March 2017, Edd pressed upload on a 6-minute video that shook the whole workshop. It hit YouTube like a dropped wrench. On March 21, 2017, a 6-minute clip appeared on Edd China's channel titled "I'm Leaving Wheeler Dealers." No clickbait, no jokes, just Edd in his orange gloves, sitting at a plain desk, eyes locked on the lens. He spoke slowly, every word clear. The new bosses, he said, wanted to chop the repair scene short. They called it efficiency. Edd's reply was simple. A car show without real repairs isn't a car show at all. So, he chose to walk. He thanked the fans, praised Mike, and even wished the network well. Yet between the polite lines, you could feel the sting when he said, "It's not the direction I can support." Viewers heard a louder message. The heart of the show was being sliced away for speed. Within an hour, the comments roared. Shares jumped across forums, Facebook groups, and car blogs. By lunch, the story was on auto news sites. By dinner, it was trending in Twitter. People clipped quotes, circled screenshots, and searched for hidden clues. Some cheered Edd for standing by his craft. Others asked why Mike hadn't fought harder. The view counter spun like a tack needle. 1,000,025. Reporters called Edd and Mike for statements. The network issued a short note. The show remains strong, IT sounded thin. Edd's clip ended with a tight smile. "Keep making, keep fixing, and I'll see you soon," he told the camera. He waved. The screen faded to black and the internet poured into the silence with theories. Fans felt they knew the truth now, but shock was only the first wave. Next came the storm, and it would crash into Mike Brewer first. The backlash hit Mike Brewer like a brick through a windscreen. Within hours of Edd's video, angry posts stacked up one very platform. Some fans called Brewer a sellout, saying he let the show ditch its soul. Others fired off harsher words, dark threats that had nothing to do with rusty cars or leaking gaskets. Mike tried to calm things down, tweeting that he loved Edd like a brother, and had begged the network to keep the long repair scenes. It didn't help. The flood kept rising. Soon, the anger spilled into real life. Mike's inbox filled with hate mail. One message warned that someone would pay a visit to his house, another dragged his teenage daughter into the mess. Shaken, Mike rang the police, who opened a file and told him to watch his back. He later said the strain nearly broke him. Even Edd stepped in, posting that no one should threaten Mike and asking people to chill out. But on the internet, a spark can light a wildfire. And this one was roaring. Sponsors got jumpy. A tire brand pulled a planned ad spot. The network issued a Longier press note saying Wheeler Dealers would evolve while staying true to its roots. They announced a new mechanic, Edd China, known for cheeky charm and fast builds. Some viewers cheered, curious to see fresh blood. Others shouted, "Replaceable," and swore they were done with the show for good. Yet, even in the noise, many fans kept one eye on Mike and one on Edd, hoping the pair might patch things up. For now, though, the split felt final. And while Mike braced for his first episode without Edd, the newcomer, Ant, was about to find out just how sharp the spotlight could be. When the dust settled, the cameras kept rolling, just with a new face on the tools. Ant Anstead, a former cop-turned-car builder, stepped into the workshop wearing a grin almost as wide as Edd's reach. He was quick with a joke and even quicker with an impact wrench. The network hoped his energy would win back hearts. The first episode with Ant opened on a bright blue Mustang. He talked up Ant's skills, teased bigger builds, and promised more depth next time. Yet, every social post carried the same shadow. "Bring back Edd," Ant joked that it was the most loved and hated mechanic in TV. Off camera, the pressure weighed like a V8 block on a folding bench. Still, cars rolled in and cars rolled out. A 240Z, a dusty Ferrari, even a military Humvee, all flipped for profit and screen. The numbers proved the show could survive. But could it ever feel the same? While Brewer and Instead chased the next deal, Edd slipped off the radar and into a quiet workshop on the edge of the English countryside. For 4 years, the tall man in orange gloves stayed mostly silent, popping up only at car shows and charity runs. Fans kept asking, where did he go? In 2021, they finally got an answer. A brand new YouTube series called Edd China's Workshop Diaries. The first episode dropped on a Friday evening. No flashy graphics, no TV schedule, just Edd, a kettle boiling in the background, and a tired Range Rover waiting for rescue. He greeted viewers like old friends, rolled up his sleeves, and dug in. There were no rushed montages here. Every bolt came off in real time. Every worn seal got a clear close-up. Edd even paused to draw simple sketches on a whiteboard when a job needed extra explaining. It felt like the early days of Wheeler Dealers, only slower, deeper, and 100% under his control. The projects soon grew wilder. One week, he rebuilt a 1960s milk float and slipped in an electric motor. The next, he revived the record-breaking motorized sofa that once zoomed down the streets of London. Viewers loved it, comments filled with gratitude. "I can finally see the whole job again." By the 10th upload, the channel had passed 500,000 subscribers, funded by ads, Patreon backers, and the occasional big hands, small garage t-shirt sale. Without network orders, Edd set his own pace. Some months he posted every Friday. Other times he took a break to hunt rare parts or speak at engineering fairs. Nobody complained. They knew the next video would land when the job was truly ready. Sponsors knocked on his door, but he chose only tools he already used. "If it isn't in my toolbox, it isn't in the show," he joked. Meanwhile, back on Wheeler Dealers, Ant Ansted's run ended in 2020 when he moved home to the UK for family reasons. The network tapped Mark Elvis Priestley, a former McLaren F1 mechanic, to take his place. Priestley brought sharp skills and airlaxed laugh, and the show filmed its 2021 season in a new British workshop. Ratings held steady, yet fans still compared every slow-motion weld to Edd's detailed walkthroughs. By 2024, both paths seemed set. Edd teaching in his own time, Mike steering a lighter, faster TV machine, but whispers of a reunion kept floating through the forums. Brewer would say never. Edd would nod and smile, then change the subject. With two separate worlds thriving, only one question hung in the air. Would either man ever feel the need to bridge the gap, or were they happier driving on different roads for good? That answer, as always, lurked just around the next bend. By 2023, the two paths seemed set, but the internet loves a twist. Early that year, a small car blog ran one line that set fans buzzing. Sources say Edd China made guest star in a future Wheeler Dealers special. No names, no dates, just enough spark to light page-soft debate. Reddit threads stretched for miles. Some swore they'd spotted Edd lunching with a Motor Trend producer at Goodwood. Others claimed Mike and Edd were quietly planning a charity build to mark the show's 25th birthday. Neither man slammed the door. When asked during the podcast, Mike laughed, "Never say never. My phone still works." A month later, Edd did a live stream from his workshop. Someone typed, "Would you ever go back?" He paused, grinned, and said, "Only if we can show every nut and bolt." It wasn't a yes, but it was an no. And that was more than enough to keep hope alive. Fresh rumors kept rolling. One story said the BBC wanted both hosts for a new EV conversion series. Another claimed Discovery had pitched a reunion road trip. 10 classic cars, 10 countries, one last handshake. Most tips fizzled out when dates slipped or budgets shrank. Yet the chatter never fully died. Meanwhile, small signs hinted the gap was closing inch by inch. At the 2024 NEC Classic Motor Show, Mike and Edd spoke on the same stage for the first time in 7 years. Different panels, same day. They shared a brief backstage hello. Reporters caught a photo of them smiling and Twitter exploded. A month later, Mike sent Edd a public birthday tweet. "Have a great one, mate. Hope to share a brew soon." Edd liked the post with a thumbs-up emoji, simple gestures, but for longtime fans, they felt like fresh oil on a rusty hinge. Away from the spotlight, both men kept busy. Edd tested a hydrogen-powered taxi, hinting that alternative fuels could be his next big rabbit hole. Mike wrapped filming on the show's 20th season and teased the biggest profit we've ever made. Yet, every interview ended with the same final question. Will you two ever team up again? Each man answered with a shrug and a smile, letting mystery do the heavy lifting. For viewers, that open door became its own kind of fuel. As long as no one said never, the dream stayed alive. and sodded the endless theories swirling through forums and comment sections, whether a reunion